China says establishing a fund to help poor countries tackle climate change will be the biggest obstacle during COP26 climate talks this weekend. Beijing has unveiled an action plan to fight the climate crisis in a new policy paper, but has stopped short of making any new promises. China says, as the world's largest developing nation, it faces major challenges.
Days before the start of Crunch climate talks in Glasgow, the world's biggest carbon emitter has released a white paper on its climate policies. Top of China's agenda, striking a balance between development and emission reduction. Part of the plan involves transitioning to greener technology, but Beijing says realizing its climate goals is not easy. It plans to go from peak emissions to carbon neutrality in 30 years.
公众意识不断提高，形成了应对气候变化工作持续推进的良好局面。但是同时，我国应对气候变化也面临着困难与挑战。世界面临百年未有之大变局，单边主义、保护主义抬头，我国在应对气候变化方面面临的国际形势更加复杂。
China has urged the international community to take action ahead of COP26, vowing to lead the way.
这次大会将就巴黎协定实施细则遗留问题开展谈判。与此同时，中国开启全面建设社会主义现代化国家新征程。
But there are growing doubts over China's commitment. No new climate pledges have been made, and President Xi Jinping is expected to miss the UN talks. China's expected to lead a 5% spike in global coal consumption this year.
Lo Min joins us live for more. Min, tell us, China pushing for richer nations to do more at COP26 this weekend?
Yes, Chinese officials have said that the responsibility for cutting global emissions rests more with developed countries because they must face up to their historical responsibility. But experts also say that there are possibly economic benefits to be reaped from pushing richer countries to do more. And that's because China dominates some of the supply and processing of raw materials needed for green technologies, such as solar panels and lithium batteries. And on top of that, China has been attempting to expand its global clout by providing economic assistance to developing countries. Last month, it said that it would stop building coal plants overseas, a move that it hopes would encourage other countries cooperating with China to transit to green energy as well and contributing to this global climate fight. And of course, along with that, there are hopes that there would be economic benefits that would flow back to China as well. But this emphasis on helping developing countries could also draw attention away from the fact that China has not made any bold new pledges ahead of the climate summit. If you recall, that's because of the power outage that the country is struggling with in September. Large parts of the country went dark and factories were forced to halt production. And that worries leaders who are worried about laying out ambitious climate goals, just as the country is still figuring out how to ensure enough coal supply to provide heating for households during the cold winter months. And that was why the roadmap to carbon neutrality in 2060 was delayed for weeks. The Chinese climate envoy has previously promised that it would be unveiled weeks ago in early October, but it was only released just this past weekend. So this energy crisis really reveals the challenges that China faces in balancing the international pressure for it to shift away from fossil fuels and ensuring a stable energy supply back home.
Min, President Xi is expected to miss COP26. Is this a strategic move?
Well, there were reporters that were asking this exact question at the press conference today, but we were given a non-answer. Officials told us we have to wait for the foreign ministry to announce whether President Xi would attend the meeting. But climate watchers are speculating that more likely than not, President Xi will not break his nearly 2-year streak of staying within the borders of his country, in line with China's zero-tolerance policy for COVID-19. The obvious reason is to protect its leader from any risk of contracting the virus. But also we can't ignore the fact that China-US relations has been deteriorating lately, with the latest sticking point being the Taiwan issue, after President Joe Biden said that he would come to Taiwan's defense in the event of an attack. Now, the two leaders, President Joe Biden and President Xi, has said that they would have a summit before the end of the year. And optics-wise, it might not look too good if the two leaders sat down together at the COP26 summit before relations cool down. Now, does this mean that China will be disengaging from global climate talks? The Chinese perspective is that their climate goals are crystal clear. It's part of their national strategy, national development plan. And since they made such bold declarations last year, it's going to be part of their central priority, regardless of what steps other countries are going to take. Steve?
All right, Mary, thanks for that update. Lo Min Min speaking to us from Shanghai.